The Galactic Federation Training Academy prided itself on breaking cadets. It didn't matter what species you were, the drill sergeants would find your physical limit and push you beyond it until you either evolved or collapsed. For most species in the galaxy, this was a reasonable approach. Most habitable worlds were gentle cradles of life with minimal gravity, mild temperatures, and hospitable atmospheres. And then there was Earth. Drill Sergeant Crix watched the newest batch of recruits file into the training grounds, his four eyes narrowing at the lone human among them. The small bipedal creature looked fragile compared to the towering earthen warriors and the multi-limbed Dorsetti tacticians. But Crix had heard rumors about Earth, classified as a Class 12 Death World, and its inhabitants. "Recruit Jenkins," Crix bellowed, hovering toward the human. "I've been informed your world has extreme conditions by galactic standards. Care to elaborate for your fellow cadets?" Tom Jenkins, fresh from Earth's Australian outback, stood at attention. At 5'10" and lean, he appeared thoroughly unimpressive among the gathered aliens. "Sir, Earth has approximately 1G gravity, temperatures ranging from -50 degrees Celsius to +50 degrees Celsius, depending on region, atmospheric oxygen at 21%, and wildlife that's mostly venomous, poisonous, or otherwise lethal, sir." Crix made a clicking sound that passed for laughter among his species. "And yet you survived long enough to join us. How touching." His voice dripped with sarcasm. "Today's exercise is a simple endurance test. 20 kilometers through the training grounds. The elite squadron holds the record at 2 hours. The alien cadets murmured nervously. 20 kilometers was considered a brutal distance by most galactic standards. "Begin," Crix shouted, and the recruits took off. The elite squadron, 5 of the Academy's top performers chosen from species renowned for speed and endurance, led the pack, setting a pace that had most cadets struggling within minutes. Jenkins, however, maintained a steady rhythm, breathing evenly as the kilometers ticked by. At the 5-kilometer mark, Drill Sergeant Loza, Crix's second-in-command, noted something peculiar. "The human isn't slowing," she observed. "In fact, I think he's speeding up." Crix dismissed her concern. "Impossible. Humans have no exceptional athletic abilities in our records." By the 10-kilometer mark, half the cadets had dropped out. The elite squadron maintained their lead, but Jenkins had closed the gap significantly. What was most disturbing to the observing surgeons was that the human showed no signs of fatigue, no labored breathing, no decrease in form. At 15 kilometers, the elite squadron began to falter. Their pace slowed as they reached their biological limits. Behind them, Jenkins continued his steady rhythm, now covered in a sheen of sweat that alarmed several alien observers who feared he might be melting. When Jenkins passed the first member of the elite squadron at kilometer 16, Drill Sergeant Crix felt the first flutter of concern. "What in the void is happening?" he demanded. "Check his vitals." Loza scanned the human. Heart rate elevated but stable. Body temperature. "Wait, that can't be right. He's running hot enough to cook most species from the inside. Is he dying?" "No," Loza replied, bewildered. "I think this is normal for him." By kilometer 18, Jenkins had passed all but one of the elite squadron. The last remaining leader, a Mavari windrunner, was struggling visibly while Jenkins appeared to be picking up speed. It was kilometer 19 when true panic set in among the drill sergeants. Jenkins overtook the final elite squadron member, and then did something that made Crix's exoskeleton rattle with shock. He began to sprint. The human's pace doubled as he tore toward the finish line, arms pumping, legs devouring the distance with a primal intensity that reminded the watching aliens why Deathworlders were both fascinating and terrifying. Jenkins crossed the finish line at 1 hour and 42 minutes, 18 minutes faster than the elite squadron's record. Then, instead of collapsing like any reasonable being, he jogged in place, stretching his limbs as if waiting for something. "Where's the rest of the course?" he asked when Crix approached. The drill sergeant's voice modulator struggled to maintain a steady tone. That was it, recruit." Jenkins looked genuinely surprised. "Oh, on Earth, we call this a half marathon. Many humans run these for fun on weekends. A cold silence fell over the training grounds. The idea of running such distances for fun was incomprehensible to the gathered species. Later that evening, an emergency meeting of the Academy's highest-ranking officers convened. "We've severely underestimated humans," Admiral Plex stated, reviewing the data from Jenkins' performance. "This wasn't some genetic outlier. This is standard human endurance. They evolved as persistence hunters, capable of running prey to death over days." Days. General Uran's upper appendages trembled. "No intelligent species hunts that way. It's barbaric." "Effective," corrected Admiral Plex, "and concerning. If this is their baseline, what are their military elites capable of?" The next morning, the training program was revised. A new classification was created specifically for humans and other Deathworlders, with adjusted parameters that might actually challenge their physiology. As for Jenkins, he remained oblivious to the panic he'd caused. When questioned about his performance, he shrugged. "I wasn't even pushing that hard," he admitted. "Wait until you see what happens when humans actually try." The drill surgeons exchanged glances, a universal expression of dread crossing their alien features. The galaxy had not prepared them for what evolved on Earth, and they were beginning to realize this was just the beginning of their education. In the Academy's records, a new notation appeared beside Earth's entry: "Approach with caution. Physical capabilities exceed standard metrics. Reconsider conventional engagement tactics." For the first time in the Academy's history, the drill surgeons were the ones being educated.